You're home early.
Yeah, tonight, didn't really go quite as I thought it would.
I'm sorry, kid.
You want to lay it on me?
Sierra, you are beautiful. But you are so much more than that. Look at your fine intellect. And all that writing talent.
Have you seen a green sort of teal box thing? And it has fabric on top of it, it's round, and there's a bow on it.
Wow, no hi, Dad, no why are you home early? Oh, maybe because your patient delivered in under 6 hours, you brought a brand new life into the world.
What's going on?
Have breakfast for two?
Why?
Because families eat breakfast together.
Ironically, home is not where you're supposed to spend homecoming.
It's
Okay.
You watching porn?
Hey. Yeah?
Do you ever wonder why parents can't understand their teens?
It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? I mean, are we the product of some cosmic coincidence, or is there really a God watching everything? You know, with a plan for us and stuff? I don't know, man. But it keeps me up at night. What?
These scenes suck the largest of bumholes. Nobody talks to their kid this way. I mean, look at this guy's fucking face. You think... How much do you think this guy was paying? It is plain unrealistic, is what I'm saying. Parents, simply put, just don't seem to have any major insight into how a teenager should solve their very specific and sometimes very trivial issues due to differences in childhood, common misconceptions, and just a plain lack of insight and perspective taking. Neither parent nor teen can ever truly understand each other. If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering why. So let's yell at our parents. Fuck you, Dad! Wonder if we raised our kids incorrectly, and question our relationships straight into this. I called the scenes earlier unrealistic, and I think they're trying their best, right? But here it is an example of a truly realistic scene.
Pretty great. It's pretty easy.
That's good to hear. So, son, do you have a girlfriend?
I do actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh, may I see her?
You may see a picture of her.
Oh,
she's quite nice. She's very pretty too. So here you go. Here you go.
Thank you.
Dad, you dropped your fork. Dad, you can't see without those. What are you doing? Dad, no!
In all seriousness, the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the relationship or absence of between a parent and a teenager is generational gaps. I mean, there is a reason why we say okay, boomer. To explain the term very simply, there is just such a large gap between the way we as teenagers grow up and the way previous generations, such as our parents and our grandparents, grew up. In the last 15 years, we've seen the rise of electric vehicles. Tesla is one of those companies. We've seen the generalization of unlimited data. The introduction of new streaming services, Netflix, YouTube. You need to figure out something. You don't have to go ask somebody. You can just Google it. And of course, the one and only rise of Apple as a literal world superpower. That's in the last 15 years. So of course, those that grew up during a prosperous time of technology are going to be different than those who didn't. A 16-year-old teenager probably grew up with a smartphone and social media and YouTube. You know, compare that to your middle-aged father, middle-aged mother who grew up with magazines instead of the internet. These societal changes factor into our lives much more than we give credit. Alright, so I'm filming this now, alright? My dad's going to get falafel, okay? But look at all this. No, like asteroids, fucking all this shit that I've never heard of. Missile Command I've heard of. I'm pretty sure they've got, yeah, just shit like this. I mean, isn't that fucking crazy? You know, isn't this fucking crazy? Right, this is how far tech's gotten. And I know that not everyone has a fucking Atari in their car, right? It's just incredible. I mean, look at shit. Look at the shit. I can even watch fucking. I can even promote my own. I can even watch my own channel on the fucking car. And this is not a product placement for Tesla. I'm just saying that this is some of the best tech I've ever seen, and it's crazy how this was sort of developed in just the last decade, don't you think? Say you're a 17-year-old girl. As a senior in high school, you're reluctant and, you know, frankly scared to make the changes necessary for you to become an adult. Obviously, you feel unattractive. I mean, who doesn't, right? You also think that some of your classmates are a bit smarter than you, and you're a bit afraid of them. You got a little bit of anxiety as a result. Now, what does this person do? Now, many adults, depending on where they come from, would just say, they'll just fucking deal with it, dumbass. Attractiveness can't be measured, you know? And, you know, you shouldn't avoid interaction with your classmates just because you feel like they're a little smarter than you. They'll probably tell you that you're special and that, you know, everything will be okay because you are who you are. Confront your problems head on, they'll tell you, and you'll be relieved of this burden. It's a simple strategy. Push forward, push through it, deal with the anxiety, put yourself out of your comfort zone, and eventually you'll grow over it. It's not necessarily ineffective. It's helped a lot of people, so why can't it help this person? Sometimes I feel that the people that give this advice just don't have the leverage or the insight necessary to tell this teenager what to do. In my opinion, parents, before they pull the I know better routine, they should take into account the teenager's perspective. Often, simple-looking problems can be much more complex than they seem to be. That little bit of anxiety we talked about with our 17-year-old is absolutely fueled by social media. It's coal to the flame. By being able to view her classmates' filtered dick pics through her phone at nearly any time, our teenager has a much wider range of self-deprecating comparisons she can make. The larger than ever societal emphasis on college also have our 17-year-old bogged down in stress, especially when sometimes it feels like people care what you are instead of who you are. More often than not, a parent just doesn't have this knowledge, the knowledge that other, newer factors are at play here.
When you're good at something, other people tend to want to watch you do it, and I don't need to give people another reason to look at me.
You just have to be strong in the face of adversity. I mean, that's how I got through high school.
I'm of the younger generation, so I just wonder for all of you, who are you?
If you're a parent watching or listening to this, I have a great amount of empathy for you. This is not to say that teenagers are wiser than their parents. In fact, in many cases, it's quite the opposite. This is just to say that society, over time, has changed drastically. My claims work in reverse, too. Teenagers, they often can't understand their parents' adult life. Communication is key. Unfortunately, many teens are subconsciously afraid that their problems will seem trivial or illegitimate to older folks. The truth is, problems of any shape or size are a matter of perspective. A wealthy person may not struggle from financial stress, but That doesn't make money troubles any less severe or legitimate. If you're a parent, encourage discussions without judgment. If you're a teen, try to persuade your parents to listen to you. Of course, this is basically impossible in real life.
What?
Food's getting cold.
I like it cold.
I said one more week of 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, huh?
Can I say one thing, though? And you go back to your phone, I'll leave you alone. I just want to say one thing.
Fine.
Okay, but you have to let me finish saying it.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I'm not even...
You can't get angry before I finish saying it, otherwise you won't listen, okay?
Fine, just say it.
All right, okay. Okay.
Are you gonna say
I'm
it?
thinking.
Regardless of how hard this is, I think that open, thoughtful communications between all of the perspectives of this world should always try to be attained.
Focus on what's important to you. You serious?
So, parents and teens have, throughout history, had their generational differences. But because of how rapidly society has changed recently, it can range from difficult to impossible for the two groups to even speak to each other mindfully. Everybody has their own experience, and people are separated as a result. Teens have new, complex issues that older generations will never understand the way they do, and that makes communication difficult. As the spread of technology slows and society stabilizes, perhaps generations will one day grow to fully understand the lives of one another. Until then, those that grow old will watch the generations below them change in ways that, quite frankly, are sometimes breathtaking. To start bridging this gap, we're gonna have to talk through it. Notice me, Father!